And finally, which is something linked to it. As far as the whole understanding of mandala is concerned, Kautilya does provide an understanding that how various states may come together in groups or can be understood together as groups when one is trying to understand the relationship between the states or among the states, right? So the understanding on mandala primarily forms an understanding in the field of international relations and geopolitics, in my opinion, right? So international politics primarily because it deals with the relationship between and among the states. Geopolitics primarily because it suggests that given the geographical location of states, what kind of behavior or attitude they may have towards the other state, right? So it is on that account that I very much consider it to be a significant contribution in the field of geopolitics and international relations. Okay, clear? Please come again. I think there was some noise along with your voice. एक बार फिर से बताइए. Correct. This is what we are coming to, right? This is what we are coming to. See, एक तो ये है कि I've mentioned a term that is known as geopolitics, right? So geopolitics is nothing but geopolitics is a whole, a whole, array of, studies, wherein people try to understand that given their geographical position, how some countries may have advantage over other countries, and number two, the geographical location itself contributes in terms of enhancing or diminishing the power of nation states. And finally, geographical factors may be important in making a state powerful, right? So this is a very specific and a specialized discipline in the field of political science that has emerged in 20th century, and especially in the early part of 20th century, so 1904-5 onwards. So there's something possibly I can mention by way of information for you, because other things are kind of a specialized thing, and that may require a separate discussion altogether. Meaning that the point I'm trying to highlight, that geographical factors do play an important role in terms of shaping the overall national power, and number one, and number two, in terms of orienting the behavior of the state, right? So that's where geography becomes important, as this is something, this is something what we can call it as a theoretical dimension to the issue. Now, especially when we come to Kautilya, the point I'm trying to make, that when one looks at the whole mandala theory, then it is nothing but to derive conclusions about the relationship between two states simply by looking at their position on the ground, simply by looking at their position geographically. So, if geographically two states are placed in a specific way, then their relationship are likely to be shaped in a specific direction. So this is the point I'm trying to highlight. This is the point I'm trying to make. How this is so? This is what I'm coming to, right? And in fact, I will send you a kind of graphical representation of Kautilya's ideas, and that you may refer to. But what here Kautilya suggests, that in his understanding, there is a king at the center, right? So if one is trying to look at geographically, then there is a king who is very, very much ambitious, and who thinks that he should make himself and his state strong. So that's where he becomes the central part, or he occupies the central position in the overall mandala. And Kautilya calls him as Vijigishu, right? Vijigishu. This is the Sanskrit term, and Sanskrit term, and maybe you can look at it. Vijigishu. Vijigishu, if you write it in Roman, then Vijigishu, Vijigishu, right? That's what he is, the main king. He is the king at the center, right? Now, what happens that in Kautilya's understanding, if one is looking at the territory of the king, what he calls as Vijigishu, then there would be states which would be in front of him, and there would be states which would be rearward, which would be positioned rearward, राइट। कहने का मतलब यह है कि अभी तक जो हमने बताया है वो हम आपको ये बताने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि जो कौटिल्य का मानना था कि अरि या शत्रु या इनमी एक एर्थ एलिमेंट होगा, अगर हम नेशनल सोवरेनिटी को समझने की कोशिश करते हैं, वो इसलिए कि एक स्टेट के ओवरऑल ग्रोथ में या पावरफुल बनने में या उसके पावर के कम होने में या उसके डिस्ट्रक्शन में जो एक पोटेंशियल इनमी होता है, उसका एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट रोल होता है। इसीलिए उसको एक एर्थ एलिमेंट की तरह ट्रीट कर रहा है। इसलिए कि कौटिल्य का समझना था कि स्टेट के डेवलपमेंट और प्रोग्रेस के लिए स्टेट के अंदर पीस का होना बहुत जरूरी है, शांति का होना बहुत जरूरी है। और कौटिल्य कैसे पीस को डिस्क्राइब करता है वो हमने आपको बताया है, हम उसको डेफिनेशन को फिर से रिपीट कर देंगे आप लोगों के लिए। फिर कौटिल्य का ये मानना है कि अब इसके लिए क्या है कि किंग को हमेशा वेकफुल रहना पड़ता है, क्योंकि जो डिस्टर्बेंसेस होंगे या जो थ्रेट होगा पीस को, वो दो तरीके से हो सकता है। या तो इंटरनली जैसे मान लीजिए जो एलिमेंट्स होंगे वो एलिमेंट्स किंग या स्टेट के अगेंस्ट में काम करेंगे, राइट, जिसको कहीं ना कहीं आज की तारीख में हम लोग इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी कहने की कोशिश करते हैं, इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी समझने की कोशिश करते हैं। दूसरा एक्सटर्नल एग्रेशन, राइट। एक्सटर्नल एग्रेशन जहां तक कि आपके एनिमी स्टेट हैं वो आपके टेरिटोरियल बाउंड्रीज के ऊपर जो है वो किसी न किसी ढंग से मिलिट्री थ्रेट जो है वो पोज करते हैं, राइट। जैसा कि अभी रिसेंट अभी इंस्टेंस था आपका ये चाइना का। कौन से एरिया में चाइना ने एग्रेशन करने की कोशिश की थी अभी? कौन सा एरिया था वो? हाँ, करेक्ट करेक्ट, ओके, हाँ, ओके ओके, गुड। तो ये हो सकता है, लेकिन दोनों केस में कौटिल्य का ये मानना है कि अगर अंदर किसी भी ढंग का डिस्टर्बेंस है तो वो भी, उसको भी जो आपके इनमी होते हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं बढ़ावा देते हैं, और वो कहीं ना कहीं फर्दर थ्रेट का जो प्रोपोर्शन है वो लार्ज होता है। और वो इनमी जो है हमेशा वो इस इंटेंशन से करता है कि आपको डिस्टेबलाइज कर पाए और आपकी टेरिटरी को वो ऑक्युपाई कर पाए। That's what Kautilya is trying to suggest, and that is why he thinks that Ari or Shatru or enemy is an important element in understanding of, right, in understanding of the overall sovereignty of the state. Clear है?